And there we are. So it's the 1st of August, and it's the regular meeting of RFM at Agile Ventures. We have been chatting before about how to use Docker. We made how to use Git. We did the Docker thing in the afternoon. Yeah, so I would say, Matt, let's do an ordinary Scrum meeting. What did you do so far? How did you progress? What are the blockers, and what do you want to work on the next week? Yeah, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I wasn't sure if you were talking to me specifically because I ran to the toilet real quick. So yeah, I guess yesterday we had a pairing session on frequently asked questions page and made it good progress on that. There's one thing that I think is interesting to share with people about Ember.js, about the whole naming convention, because we got stuck there with an error message in the console that wasn't so easy to understand why. Because it looked like it was looking it seemed like it was looking for information from the backend, but we knew that there wasn't any information being retrieved from the backend because we were just pulling in translations from the front end. So, and the error in the console message was like unable to find model FAQ, something like that. And what it was in the end was just using like FAQ ID, which we had used with the broadcast ID in the same file, in the same router file. So, I like a lot of times I'll try to see in the project if there's a current way that some implementation is done, and try to kind of copy that. But that kind of led me a little astray, because in that case with the broadcast ID, that was actually, in the routes, it was pulling in information from the back end that
it was assuming a model. It was assuming a model would exist. It couldn't find one, and we found out that we just discovered a strange naming convention, Amber. We can talk about that. That's actually a good point. Maybe we can put that right after we went around. You can show it to us, and that way Aditya and Joseph can also see some Amber code.
Yeah, cool, awesome. And then we got past that, and that was cool. And then today we did some work on seeing if actually verifying that the Docker was working on someone else's machines than Robert's, and we got it working both on mine and Aditya's. And we made a list of things that we could potentially work on either in this meeting or break up and work on, or something like that. And hello, Mike. How's it going? And that's, I guess, for going forward, I'd like to put in some of the finishing touches on the FAQ page, so that we can get that feature wrapped up, because it's been more than 2 months that we've been working on it on and off. So it'd be nice to get that in. And I don't think we're blocked on anything on that. I think it's just a matter of changing some of the translations to update them, and doing some CSS styling, if I'm not mistaken. But I guess we'll put in the PR and get a review from Robert and see if there's anything else that I'm not thinking of. And I would like to make some time to pair with Zhang as well. And it seems like Aditya and maybe Joseph and Mike are also interested in that. So maybe see if we can figure out when we can do that.
So do you want to work? You want to continue on the FAQs issue? All right. So Amber, I will probably continue. I was working on last days I was pairing with you on the FAQ part, and yesterday and today I again tried to finally get the Docker setup working, and I did. The problem was that yay.
That's not a small task, right? So especially on them. So
Exactly,
awesome.
exactly. It's highly complex. It's a highly complex Docker setup. Actually, the development environment was just fine because um, all this all the threads they go together on the host system. But for full stack testing, we had to get all the services, all the threads going together in one Docker container, and that was kind of difficult because you have to wire everything up. That's not running on your host system anymore, but in the Docker container. I can explain something about that maybe, and especially I think for everyone else, it would be nice to it would be interesting to see how Docker Compose overrides work. Yeah, I will definitely finish this Docker setup, unless you want to do it, Matt, but you want to work on the FAQ part. With finish, I mean the notes that Matt you put down, because this afternoon we were trying to yeah, exactly those. Like we made some checks, and there's still some things missing or breaking. We want to fix that, and then we're going to merge the Docker branch, and that means that everyone else, Mike, Joseph, and Aditya, you don't need to install Postgres and all the dependencies anymore, or Redis or whatever. You can run and develop in the Docker container, which is awesome.
Hey.
Yeah.
Woo!
Exactly. How about the rest? So we have a new member, which is Aditya. So I think Aditya joined us today.
Yeah, hi Joseph, hi Robert.
Yeah, so it's Joseph and Mike, and yeah, so you are very new. You are a Res developer, I think, right? And you're interested to work in the backend, is that correct? Aditya?
Yeah, I thought you were talking. Yeah, so I'm a full stack developer. Basically, I mostly do 80% backend and 20% front end part. Right now, I would like to contribute. I haven't really worked on the Ember.js part, but I would like to contribute to that as well. So
Yeah.
for this week, what I'll be planning is maybe work on some small feature and then see how things get rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. You're free to choose whatever you like, whatever suits you best, whatever you can learn the most with. If you're interested in front end, because that's something you didn't do so far, you can, for example, pay attention as soon as Matthew is going to show some Ember code after this round robin talking. So Joseph and Mike, how about you? Did you work on, for example, did you try to help Mike Zhang on issue number 390?
Yeah, for me, I tried, but after some times, it was too difficult because, like, I haven't quite understood the Ruby syntax. So
the Ruby syntax.
Yeah, so I thought maybe I would just finish up the course in Khan Academy, Code Academy. Yeah, and then I start the EDX course, the Agile development using Ruby, and then after that, maybe now I can start picking up tasks on my own. But right now, maybe syncs only. Yeah.
Yeah, Aditya also shared a nice link for learning with us. It's Ruby Monk. I also I did this tutorial once, and it's for the Joseph. You're familiar with JavaScript, so you know how imperative programming works. So Ruby Monk would be a resource especially helpful for you because it's assuming someone who knows how to write in another imperative programming language like JavaScript, highlighting the syntax features of Ruby, like blocks.
Nice.
So this would be especially helpful for you. They have a basic course and also an advanced course, as far as I remember.
Yeah, they have. Nice.
Yeah. Did you try to pull down the code from Mike Zhang's fork?
Yeah. I have it.
So that worked.
Yeah.
Did you try to run the
And
test?
then I ran the test. Yeah, I thought there was. Yeah.
Nice. So you just have some issues with the understanding the syntax and understanding the syntax of tests, right?
Yeah. And then the test, I didn't know like where should I go and add another function in the user model, or like I was.
Yeah. All right. So I would say this the resource from Aditya is perfect for you, and I will give you one more. So there's one website which I also like, Better Specs. I assume that you still have troubles with the syntax of those RSpec files. Do you know what a test case or a file is?
What?
Do you know what RSpec is?
That's the test for. That's how you name the test for Ruby, I guess.
It's a testing framework for Rails, and or for Ruby actually, not only Rails. We are using it, and those tests that are failing, those are in a RSpec test. And if you say you have troubles understanding the syntax, maybe you want to check out RubyMonk and then Better Specs, because Better Specs is a pro or a bad and good comparison how to write RSpec tests. And then you will also understand like this describe and context and syntax in Ruby. All right?
Okay. Awesome. Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, Mike, how about you? Did you try to work on something? Did you have any issues so far?
Hi guys. I did not get to work on anything. Yeah, I just did not maybe get the time to work on this, but I think we can start off by pairing with someone. Maybe that I think Matt is always out and out to pair, so maybe I'll ping Matt to plan a session so that I can start moving on with this one.
Yes, of course. And you can also ping me if you like, if I'm available. And by the way, there's nothing bad in not having time. Don't feel bad about it. It's perfectly fine. I just want to know if there have been any blockers, and if so, which are the blockers and how can I help? Like Joseph's told me or told us, he has troubles to understand the Ruby syntax.
Yeah,
I know this problem. I know this problem very well, and I do remember that RubyMonk and this website helped me back then.
Robert even told me today that it's okay and actually important to rest as well.
So Matt is how do you say in English? Someone who cannot say
no,
who never stops working.
Yeah,
workaholic.
I think you can also, we have an expression in English that's that says like you're burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Robert, I had a quick question. Like, do you have any features in mind for me right now? Like maybe I can start working on a particular feature.
Yeah. So, what do you would like to work on, Ember.js or Ruby?
Is there a mix of both I can get my hands dirty with? Like maybe a full.
Yeah, of course. Implementing a feature is definitely something where you can get your hands dirty with. Implementing a feature would usually require changes in the backend and changes in the frontend, so you'll learn both. Let me see. So we can do that before I'm going to share my screen. We can do that before going into the Ember code by Matt. So I have to apologize for not maintaining the issues very often. But considering that you are a Rails developer already, so there's a typo. Maintenance.
You can just use this add-on called Grammarly. It just fixes everything for you.
Oh, right. Cool. Grammar what?
Grammarly. Grammarly. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I have to check that out. Yeah, I'll check that later.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's an extension for you can install it in
Yeah.
Chrome, and yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend something that has to do with maintenance, honestly. Although I would definitely like to update this one here, but this is something you have to fix in the GAM that we are using. I mean, I don't know if you like that, but that's something where you have to go deep into the GAM itself. So if there's something else, why is that still open? I thought this was fixed. Isn't that closed?
Yeah, that is actually. That's you've added the this database template already. I understand what.
All right, so I would say this could be something. I wouldn't say it's too difficult. Yeah. Okay, so this one here was by Davidak. He's one of our users. And if you go to this page, so this is the URL. I can also put that into our Hangout. So this is for you, Aditya. This link. This is our production website. And if you go to statistics, you see the current distribution of funds of our users right now. And it would be nice if you're authenticated. I'm going to authenticate myself now. So now I'm logged in. So the system should know which broadcasts I supported. You know what I mean by supported?
Yeah, basically, like as far as I get, you mean I do some particular feature in this, and as I press some particular action, and in that particular session, I need to record, and then if user logs in, he needs to know ki acha, you're talking in similar to in such ground, right?
Yeah, I think I have to explain it a little bit further. So the system is working like that. This is like the landing page, and if you click on participate now, you will get to this page here, where you see a random selection of broadcasts. No, come on. What's happening?
Oh, there. Oh, there.
I don't know what's happening. It's
React app. It's not a React app.
Okay, something, I don't know what that was, but yeah. Anyhow, so there's a random selection, 6 broadcasts, and I can decide to support one of those broadcasts. For example, that one here. All right, I just click that button. Then, by the way, everyone who wants to develop Amber should get this Amber Inspector browser add-on. It's available for Chrome, Amber Inspector.
Yeah, I have on Firefox as well.
So here you go. And so where am I? Yeah, no, this one here. So when I click on support, there will be an impression with a response positive. See this?
Yeah.
This on the supporter that I just supported. Like I can. This data here comes from the backend, of course.
So you're saying which route and which URL?
Yeah, which you already rated exactly. And this is now called statistic. It's similar to a broadcast, but it has come on, wrong one. Okay, statistic broadcast. It has all the data, like approval, like this numbers here. And it would be great if you could if you could send along with this data.
I will just send a Boolean field either true or false saying ki whether that particular thing needs to be highlighted or not. I'm not really sure where the data is being saved in the database right now. So.
Yeah, this would be one way of doing it, but I would even recommend something else. So this is the data that comes from the backend in order to show this the numbers. But you can in Rails we have an association. So I'm going now to the backend code. This is Rails land, so you should be familiar with that. And in here we have this statistic broadcast, which is a model that refers to one of those items here, right?
Okay.
And it has broadcast. And you could, for example, you could go from this one here is just one item. I call it SB. It's ID 76. It has the title abgedreht. So this is one of those statistic records. This one also has a broadcast. Like what?
Oh. SB, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So this one gives me the actual broadcast, and then I can have the impressions for that broadcast, which are I have 214, and I can I can try to get the impression from. Does that actually work? I don't know. User ID.
User dot last dot ID.
Okay, that actually. Cool. So this would be one way. So this would give you the impression that you want. So in this impression, you have this response positive or neutral. And based on that, you could color, or you can give the information if this was supported or not. All right.
Could you copy that into the Slack channel?
Yes.
Or not the group chat, so we can just have a look at it later.
If I can find it.
I think Slack will be better because once we end the.
I'm actually copying the links that Robert has shared, and also that Aditya has shared as well into the Slack. I just haven't hit enter yet, but
yeah. But do you have an idea what's going on here? Aditya?
Yeah, like I got a little bit of sense what exactly is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you were going to learn about probably you're going to learn about the JSON API, which is a specification how front end and backend applications can talk to each other. So there's a specification how a JSON response should look like, and you can have, for example, also relationships. So for example, if you have the statistic item, you can have a relationship with the impression that comes with it, right?
Yeah, okay.
This would be one way. This would be actually my preferred solution, I guess. And this is the way how our front end and our back end are communicating with each other.
Sorry to back you up. Just for clarification's sake, so this I was just gonna make a note there so we don't forget. This SB is a local variable that stands for statistic, and then those.
So I did
statistic. What do you call those double colons? And can you explain what that means, please?
Yes. First of all, let me say SB was statistic.
Yeah, cool.
Broadcast. Just get one of these records here. This double colon is a namespacing.
Yeah.
It's Ruby has a module system. Double colon, and It's this refers to model broadcast within the module statistic. This is the module, and we have inside this module we have another model broadcast.
So mix in, right? Basically,
not a mix in.
Achha, he's talking about that namespace colon thing.
Yeah. So
is it still the object resolution operator as in I think C++ here?
Yeah, similar to that, or packages in Java. So
statistic is not a class; it's a module.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on? Something is wrong with my editor.
You are using NeoVim, right?
I'm using NeoVim, yes.
How do I get it? Show the file path on the left there. This.
Oh, that's plugin.
Oh, okay.
I think it's called Vim Filer.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Oh, now we have it. So this is the module statistic, and here we have the class. And we have another class which is called broadcast, which is not inside the statistic module.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The whole reason for it is that we are able to distinguish between. Where is it? Too many windows. Okay. We can actually go into one of those broadcasts. Like the broadcast model is something that has a title, that has a description, that has a medium, which is TV, radio, or online. It has a station or many station, and it has created ad, it has updated ad, and so on. All right.
Yep.
While the statistic broadcast is more like the statistic that comes with this broadcast, like Wave Game 2. Oh,
yep.
Yeah, that's actually the broadcast. But what we see here is these numbers. This is on the statistic model, like the statistic broadcast model. All right.
Yep.
And even in our backend, even in our database, we have am I blind?
What are you looking for, sorry?
We should also have statistic _ broadcasts.
Table. Like maybe you are looking in the long database, like development or.
There you go. All right. So, yeah, this is, yes, right. This is actually a materialized view. That makes perfect sense because we're using a particular gem called.
What is materialized view?
A materialized view is something like an SQL query, which is cached. The result is cached, and it's always updated when new data is added to the database.
Mm-hmm.
So this one gives you views. Oh, yeah, I think I have to switch rooms. Let me go into another room for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Okay, sorry for the interruption. I'm visiting my parents at the moment, and they got visitors. Okay, get back to topic. Who knows? Yeah, fine. Who knows what is a view? What's a database view? Maybe Joseph, do you know what a database view is? Or Aditya, maybe you can explain it.
So I'm not an expert at this, but I can give a shot at it. Like there are multiple joins in a SQL database. So you kind of basically create a join and then basically sort of like a creative view. It doesn't really like a schema on the database, but if you can query on the view and get the result output, but I'm not really sure how Postgres does it.
Yeah. So we are actually using a gem to make it possible. So you can have a database query, and you can use that result. All right. So a statistic broadcast in our case is actually, I still have the editor here. So here are the views. This, oh, you cannot read it. But yeah, this is the database query that's calculating the statistic broadcasts from the table impressions and broadcasts. And what else? A lot of things. But yeah, here we have some averages, and here we have a left outer join with broadcasts. That's probably in order to get the title of the broadcast and so on and so on. So we can use this query here just as like an ordinary Rails model. And this is also why we have read only, true, right? So this is just a read-only model, and it's taking data from the backend. You cannot save to it. You cannot write to it because it's a view. It's not a table, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, got a little bit off topic, but that's okay. So what did I explain? I think it was explaining this feature here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you get a feeling for it, Aditya?
Yeah, I got a feel for it. Like I need to dig around the code, maybe to get a better understanding, like what exactly the query needs to be written and
yeah,
how
so
the
it's quite complex. It's quite complex. Don't underestimate it. If you run into any issues, just text me. Because you have to look up so many things. You need to know how backend and frontend communicate with this JSON API thing. How does JSON serialization works in our case? You probably want to know how to join this thing here with the impression for the current user, right? Yeah, and send that back to the front end.
Yeah, and Aditya, if you would like to create an event on the Agile Ventures site and share where you're and pair with other people, I would definitely be interested in like watching you work and helping out if I can.
Maybe not right now, because like I would be wasting a lot of your time right now because I'm a newbie, right? Maybe after a month I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Like it's but I think like you definitely have things that you can teach me and vice versa. But yeah, it's just it's not a requirement or anything. Just if you feel like it.
Be comfortable.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And also,
yeah, I'm comfortable in that, but it like it would be a waste of time right now. Like I'm a newbie in this particular project, right? Like I would be needing help from you guys first. Maybe after I get a grip hold of the entire database, maybe then I can be more comfortable in sharing my knowledge with you guys.
Okay, no worries. And Joseph, you were saying something?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Robert, what's the business or the like what's how do I put this?
How do you make the money?
No. Like, what does it do? The website. What does it do? Like, because I'm seeing broadcast and everything. Like, what's the purpose?
Yeah. So there's I don't know if I can find it. Something that is explaining it in English. Probably just Wikipedia, I guess. Oh no, it's not in English. No way.
We are not able to see your screen, Robert.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're right. Thank you very much. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, I mean, like your facial expressions, right? I would like to see the screen.
So here's the only thing that I could see. You're not seeing my screen, right? Yes, I think you are.
Yeah.
So the only thing I could find for is here, public broadcasting. This is actually the name of the broadcasting fee here in Germany, and it's not in English. But it's in German, like we have it in all European countries. And there are some TV and radio stations and even online broadcasting that is financed with these broadcasting fees. Here in Germany, everyone who has a home has to pay for it. It doesn't matter if you watch it, if you read it, it doesn't matter, you have to pay for it. And it's quite a lot. It's actually almost 8 billion euros. So that's quite a lot of money.
You are paying for, like,
yes,
the TV station, like a.
Yes, they are not run by the state. They are not run with tax money. They are it's like a media corporation, but they are receiving this public money. All right. And the problem is we have like 22 TV stations, 67 radio stations, and a lot of online platforms with apparently 25,000 employees.
Okay, so you are saying everyone in German pays for, like, let's say if there's a CNN station in Germany, you are paying for it even though you are not watching, even if you don't have a TV.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Hi. Is that fair?
Yeah, you think it's funny or it's unfair, and many people think it's unfair. Actually, there was a strong debate about it. Yeah, there we go. So this one means broadcasting fees since 2013. So on January the 1st of 2013, these broadcasting fees, everybody had to pay, no matter if you actually use it or not. Before that, there was a legal opt-out, so you could send a letter saying, I'm not using TV and radio, I don't want to pay for it, and that's fine. But since 2013, you cannot do that anymore, and everybody has to pay, and a lot of people are very upset about that.
By the way, like it's not necessarily all bad, because like living in Brazil, for example, and even in the United States, like public broadcasting is next to nothing, you know, and so you only have private corporations that control all the information that's passed on news and things like this. So it's not necessarily all a bad thing. I think it's just that there should be democracy in this as well, where people can opt to say what's important for them to be paying for and what's not, you know, so that all the money doesn't get spent on things like sports, for example, instead of culture.
Yes, exactly. So Matt is right. It's not all bad. It's the reason why everybody has to pay for it is that our constitution is requiring it. Like we need to have publicly funded media corporations that are politically and economically independent. So it's very important for democracy, because you will make your opinion on information, and why you need independent news sources. All right. So right now the public debate is that there are many people who just want to get rid of the system. Like they say it should be abolished. Like we should have the system like in the US. In the US, it's like Matt said, you have 6 big media corporations. 6 media corporations.
I think it's like that in Australia as well, if I'm not mistaken. And in Brazil, it's even more extreme. Like there's like 1 or 2 control all the
concentration of media ownerships. And I think in the US, it's Century Fox.
And now Fox was bought by Disney.
Yeah. Part of Fox, not all of it, but yeah. Walt Disney's owning kind of everything.
Yeah, they own everything. So if they want to make you think something, they can do it. All right.
Yeah.
So and that's
there's a good book called Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky that talks exactly about this whole subject. That I definitely recommend. And for those who don't want to read a big book, there's actually a documentary on it as well. It's like 3 hours long.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So it's highly political what we're doing here, and the problem is, I mean, I think we need publicly funded media corporations or media in general. I like that. I want that. I see the necessity for it. However,
Okay.
I don't want these broadcasting fees to be spent from like they can do whatever they want with it, right? So it's 8 billion euros, and there is no public feedback about it. How it should be spent. And
Yeah.
you can see here like how the monies are actually spent. Like they pay about 370. Oh, it's actually more than that. So they pay together. So these are blue and orange. They are the biggest stations, the first and the second TV station, and together they pay 1 billion of euros approximately. A little less. Okay, so 800. How many is it? How much is it? So this is 700.
Like almost 800.
800.
800 and something. Yeah.
800 something. 800 millions of euros just for the licensing of sports like a world championship and Champions League and something like that. So definitely not something that has to do anything with your with building your opinion, like your political opinion, or which is really relevant for our democracy.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Like they have television shows and series, and then it goes to politics and society, and that's something that I would say is actually I would say relevant. But the point here is I don't care. Like I don't care if many people would like to pay for sports, that's fine. Like I just want to give them a voice and let them distribute how they want their monies to be allocated, and this should be made public, and maybe this has some kind of impact.
Yeah.
If you know, okay, what are the genres that people would like to. So here we see the TV stations, how it's if you have an average value, what would we expect based on how many broadcasts are in the database right now, and how much people would like to give. And for example, you can see, I think radio is quite interesting. Okay, this is also very interesting. So people would like to pay more for online broadcasts and less for radio and TV. That's something I find very interesting. And if you go to the radio stations, this one here is absolutely, how to say in English, people like that very much. And that's something very interesting because Deutschlandfunk is actually the culture and educational radio stations. They don't have music; they just send documentaries and features and so on.
It has a high approval rating, I think is what you're trying to say.
It has a high approval rating. So
I think what's really interesting as well is to note about that you've said before, Robert, is that there's a difference between like what you consume necessarily and what you want public spending on. So like I can enjoy sports, but I don't think that we should be spending public funds on that.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to have both, right? And I see as you said, Matt, there's a difference between the consumption, the usage, and what you think is valuable, right? So if you use your remote control, if you use the TV ratings that are based on actual usage and consumption of media, that's totally different from if you would ask people, what do you think is actually valuable? All right, they will tell you different things, and we want to highlight that difference and make that public, because the media corporations, the only ratings they have are the TV ratings. The only data they have are the TV and radio ratings, and that's why sport is they spend so much money on sport, because it's what is good on the TV ratings, right? That's the only reason, and that's I would say that's a public debate. It should be decided by all people, all the people, all the payers, I would say. And I want to make this idea more publicly aware. people didn't thought about that we could actually make a web application where everybody can say on its own, I want to support, I don't know, Weltspiegel, for example. That's actually a good documentary. Or this one here, right?
Ah.
So you have your list, and you can then spend your budget on that and decide on your own.
I see.
Right? It's absolutely important that you ask those questions, because otherwise you will see only this application as something that is somehow that you learn with, and there's this German guy who's tell me what to do and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's actually
good to know the mission. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to know the mission.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely it's absolutely important to know the mission, because it helps you to identify with and also feel motivated for it. And it's not only a German thing, I would say. We have public broadcasting all over Europe, and in general, it's something for the whole world. So, Matt, you're from the US, you know the system there, and it's just the private economy in the media, and you see what happens.
It works in Brazil. I mean, we just had a political coup in Brazil because of this very thing, you know, because people just are listening to the one conglomerate that was calling for an impeachment of a president that actually didn't commit a crime worthy of impeachment, and they just took over the country, you know. Yeah, so I mean, it's extremely important.
I didn't know that. You can. I would be very interested into that. Maybe you can tell me more about the political system in Brazil.
Yeah, definitely. It's a mess at the moment.
Matthew, the name of the documentary is?
I can send that to the thing, but the name of it is Manufacturing Consent, and it comes from the title of well, there's a book about it, but it came from another book that basically believes that people are too stupid to be able to rule themselves. And so, and the idea is that in more democratic societies like the United States, that are not really true democracies, but more democratic societies, it's important what people think. So in places like in communist countries, for example, or totalitarian countries in general, it's less important what people think, because if you disagree, they'll just arrest you and torture you and kill you. But in countries where they put on a farce of having some sort of a democracy, it's very important what you think. So they have to actually manufacture your consent by getting you to think about issues in a very limited way, and these kind of things.
Oh, nice.
Have you seen the documentary or read the book, Robert?
No. I know Noam Chomsky. I know him very well. I love him. I've seen an interview with him, but I haven't seen this documentary yet. I have to check it out.
I think I'll download it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube as well. I can send it.
I've seen it on YouTube. It's the whole documentary appears to be 2 hours and something.
Yeah, it's that one.
There's a short video about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And they have it broken down into different parts if you can't consume that much in one go. Yeah,
it's really important what we are doing. Like, and there's even media coverage about this very application in Germany. We have, if you search for Rundfunk mitbestimmen and go on news, you will see many. All right, so I have to go to all. Yeah, but there's one interview, unfortunately only in German, and there's our GitHub. There's this Reddit link where many people went on our side and voted for this very broadcast, and that's why it's going so well here.
Can you share your screen? We can't.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I was checking out the Google search, so I just searched for the title of the page, and you see some media coverage here. There's one interview, and there's this Reddit link here where people got on like this is a Reddit forum from people who are publishing one of those publicly funded broadcasts, and they let people vote for this broadcast here, and that's why it has it is going so well. Like this is #1 here right now, and there's a lot about it. Like there was a Dutch journalist who interviewed me on Skype, and there's a lot of YouTube. I was on the Open Tech Summit, and
use my mobile.
Oh no, that's an Agile Ventures video. Sorry. But yeah, or this Deutschlandfunk radio station even was considering if we want to democratize public broadcasting. Yeah, so I definitely think something worth to check out. In September, I will again attend one conference here where I will be able to pitch this once more. Yeah, so absolutely. Ask what this application is about, why we are doing it, and what's the reasoning about it. Even though you will not benefit from it in countries outside Germany right now, it might be something for the future or something worth to consider.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, we get to use Ruby on Rails and Ember.js.
Yeah. Yay!
I mean, I don't want to say that's the best part, but you know, it's definitely really cool.
Yeah.
So it has been a while. We are talking since an hour. I would like to keep those regular meetings rather short.
Yeah.
I would wrap up this regular meeting. I wanted you, Matt, to show us the stuff that you were talking about, like this naming things. But I would say let's keep that for later, maybe. Instead, let's commit ourselves on certain issues. Like you, Matt, you wanted to work on the FAQ thing, right?
I want to work on everything, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish that feature. Well, I'm gonna put in a PR at least, and I'm gonna work with Miriam's not with us today, but she's normally a part of this meeting, and Faith also shared an interest in helping to complete it. So hopefully on Friday or early next week, we'll get that PR in and then wait for your review. And hopefully by next meeting, we can show it either before or after it's been merged.
Yes, sure. And I'm working on this Docker thing. I would be glad if you could send me the notes that you put down. And I'm going to finish that. Everyone who's interested in how to set up a complex Docker environment, feel free to join me. Maybe this is something for our more advanced people who would like to get into Docker and how to Dockerize an existing application. Apart from that, Mike Zhang, who's currently not with us, he wanted to work on 390. I'm also available for that. So if you want to work in the backend, if you want to do some backend jobs like sending out notifications, feel free to work on 390. That's, for example, for Mike Ono and also Joseph. You want to learn Ruby? I'm available for that. So just text me. You can text Mike Zhang if he's available, or just text me directly, and I will also help you. For example, explaining you the Ruby syntax and how this works. So, Aditya, you would like to work on this issue. Sorry, I will share my screen again.
I was just going through the code right now, so I think this response thing, it's a enum, right? Like either neutral or positive.
Could you say it again?
So in this impressions model, I see this response thing.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's either neutral or positive. Or in the future, we might have the dislike button. Then it would be negative. We haven't implemented that, but right now we have those two values: positive or neutral. Positive means you want to support it. Neutral means you don't care.
Yeah. So I think this Docker composing really helped me out. Like I was just going through like which controller and which function was being hit, and I see like this broadcast controller index function inside statistic is being hit. So I just gone through the code right now, and I just need to figure out a way to just pass this true or false value, right?
Yeah. By the way, Auditya, can you give me your GitHub account name so I can make you a collaborator?
It's Aditya Verma 1234. Aditya Verma 1234.
Adi, so no, you? Is there you here?
No. ADITYA. AD. I'm
Or
just
maybe can you give it me on Slack?
just ping you in this Hangout.
Oh, sorry. There you go. Yes, thank you. So you're now a collaborator, and I can, for example, assign you to an issue if you like. This one.
So at what time are you going to start Dockerizing? You said we should join you if we want to see how to Dockerize an existing website.
All right. Yeah, we can definitely do that. When do you have time?
Today
Mike?
or tomorrow? I don't think.
Is it Joseph or is it Mike who's currently talking?
Joseph.
Joseph. Yeah, why not? Let's do a pairing, maybe tomorrow.
Okay. I think the time zone is the same.
Oh, this is interesting. Being Robert's calendar.
Yeah, it's very empty because it's I just have work to do and no appointments usually.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. What's your preferred time?
Any time between. The time difference is 1 hour with you.
I don't know. 1 or 2 hours. Kilian.
Yeah, it's 1 hour.
There's actually a why.
Sorry.
Yeah, most guys from Europe forget the why. So
yeah, sorry for that.
yeah, it's only funny because I was talking with someone a few weeks ago and he made the same mistake. So
shall we say 2 o'clock? That would be 3 o'clock on your time.
Yep, that's perfect.
One more 30 minutes. 2 sorry, hours.
you can share and
you haven't invited me. You haven't sent the invite.
An invite.
Yeah.
Can I do that with Google Calendar?
Yeah. Where you are, click on that. And then now I can accept, and then I will see the notification so that I don't forget.
So what's your?
Okay, I don't think it's there.
This Google Calendar thing is cool. I might need to start.
I did put in the Hangout or yeah. Or do you want me or us to see your mail?
Yep, it's okay. This is a public. It's not my private.
And Robert, you can share that on Slack just in case someone wants to join.
Yeah, the Hangout link, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
So why can I not send it?
Can you go to I don't understand. Go to the edit. Just close the model.
I have to close this model.
Yeah, just close it. I don't know how to send it from there. Yeah, click on the edit. Here, there. Yeah, that one. And then right. I can't click. You see, guest day here.
Which one?
Guest. Add guests. Guest here.
There you go.
There. Yeah.
You can of course also edit this date.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. Now if I go to my calendar, I can accept.
Yeah, so that would be Docker, and you are working on this issue I assigned you to. You can work on Amber. Mike, how about you?
The 390.
Yeah, you can work on 390 if you like.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions about 390?
I actually did read about it, and so what you had a conversation with Mike Young on it. I did read the conversation, and yeah, I think I can ping directly in case I'm stuck on something.
Yeah, so this would be something very easy to fix here. Like you probably heard about that you can that there are two different ways of doing things. You can do it in the Ruby world. That's the Ruby world here. Or you can do things in Rails. If you query something from the database, you can also use active relation and build an SQL query and get the data, just the data that you need, right from the database. So here you can refactor that, for example, with this method sum, which will issue an SQL request, already requesting the database to compute the sum of amount. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's something refactor.
I was having a look at briefly in the other pairing session we had with Zhang, and this PR review looks really nice because it kind of like gives a really good overlay of what needs to be done. So, and like bite-sized issues as well.
Yeah. So I just sent you the link to the active query interface, and there's also the method sum. And you can on any model you can say sum and add an attribute which is some number, and you will get the sum of all, in this case, of all clients, of all orders.
Yes.
Right? And this will run an SQL query.
Okay.
By the way, did you know that you can always show you or see the SQL query? Maybe that's my last tip for today. Do you know ToSQL? So if we go back, this thing here that I had before, broadcast impressions where user ID is 42. You can always just append to SQL, and that will give you the string of the SQL query. Like here, it's saying select impressions from impressions where and so on, and here you have broadcast ID. That's the broadcast ID of SB, like the first broadcast ID, and where user ID is 42 or something. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well then, I would say.
Did you send the invite? I can't see the invite.
I think so. I'll double check with you. Calendar. So can you double check the email?
No, you didn't add a J. You didn't copy the J.
Oh no.
There's a J, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Do you receive it?
Let me check. Yep.
Perfect. So see you tomorrow then.
Okay.
Any questions from anybody?
So you have assigned this issue with me, right? So
Yes.
So you will be the point of contact for me if I run into an issue for this, right?
Yes. Always. You can always ask me.
Yeah, sure.
And feel free to ask early. Don't try to. If you run, you will run into issues, and you will run into issues very early on if you haven't worked with Amber yet. Feel free to ask me directly.
Okay, Matthew, will you be available after this for the
Sure.
side one?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Well then, I would say let's close this event. No?
Good to
Okay.
see you.
All right. So see you next next week at the latest, and Joseph tomorrow, and anybody else who wants to ask me at any time. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.